So finally, Animesh is here with us. Come, Animesh, come.
Thank you very much.
A huge round of applause for Animesh. He's rank 2. Guys, he's rank 2. Ultimate. Very well deserved Animesh. And सिर्फ Civilsdaily में first time he's coming. He's बहुत सारे coaching institutes kept on calling him, but he said नहीं, जहाँ help मिली मैं वहीं जाऊँगा. And he decided to come to Civilsdaily. अब media है, national media है, तो of course आज तक News 18 उनको इन्होंने बाइट दी. But the first session he's doing is at Civilsdaily, which shows how kind he is to his mentor and what a good mentee he is to his mentor. Now I Shikhar sir to present a bouquet.
So guys, you've already heard bits and pieces of this story, and there are some kids from whom we get to learn so much, right? They have been through a journey that inspires us. So over to you. आप आइए, बताइए.
So good evening. I'm still overwhelmed, I'm still processing, so a lot of things that I would be saying would be not coherent that I would want them to be. So I'm Animesh Pradhan, I come from a place called Talcher in Odisha, and currently I'm posted as Information Systems Officer at Indian Oil Refinery Headquarters. So I did my basic schooling and intermediate at Talcher itself from DAV Kalinga area. And later on, I moved to NIT Rourkela for BTech Computer Science and Engineering. And then through campus, I was inducted into Indian Oil. I had this dream of joining and appearing for UPSC and be an IAS officer ever since I can remember, since my childhood times. And I started my full-fledged preparation after I joined the Ultimate Assessment Program in February-March 2022 at Civilsdaily. Before that, I had seen thousands of topper videos, strategy, book lists, and I had explored a lot, but full-fledgedly with timetable, with source list was February 2022. This was my first attempt, and sociology was my optional, and it has been a rocky adventure, and it's not just that I would want to gather sympathy or something, but I would want, because of my success, my mother's legacy to be alive. My mother was battling her terminal cancer from 2022, right before I started my preparation. So I knew that we do not have a lot of time, and that was a source of inspiration that I have to do it as soon as possible so that she could see me doing this. But unfortunately, we lost her a month back, and she could not listen to this. I had lost my father a couple of years back, and both of them had the same dream, and I'm very happy that somewhere they would be happy seeing me doing this.
So it's a very, very inspiring story and a very, very hard-fought battle. As a working professional, of course, it's difficult to, find out time. So first tell me about how did you manage time as a working professional? How many hours did you study? What were your plans? Something about them who want to, work and continue with this exam.
Right. So I understood that I have to work because there are financial issues and there were responsibilities, and also I wanted to be independent while I pursue this because it takes a lot financially also to prepare. So I did not cry, or I was not cribbing that why I have to work and there are thousands of people are doing without preparation. So that is step number one, you have to accept that this is something that you had chosen. And second, about the time management, majorly I studied major part of the entire day before I joined office at 10:15. So 3.5 hours would go before that, and after I'm back and a bit lazy to continue studies, I used to study 1.5 and 2 hours then. And weekends, although a lot of people say that you can put in 12-14 hours that day, I just could not, because I did not have that momentum to study for weekdays for 5 hours and then suddenly 10 hours on a weekend. But still I tried to study as much as possible, and that's how I tried to manage my time.
And what is your idea about the ultimate assessment program? I mean, how did Ranadhir sir came to rescue, and exactly how did he navigate you through this process named UPSC?
I owe a lot this to Ranadhir sir from Civilsdaily because the major aim of joining UAP was because just that was 1 month after my mother got diagnosed and I was not in a good mental health space. So I wanted something to keep myself disciplined and accountable. So, and Ranadhir sir had to deal with me not just as a student who's aspiring for UPSC, but who back at home has a lot of issues going. So he was there not from an academic point of view, strategy point of view, evaluating my answers and guiding me, but also as an emotionally available big elder brother who was there, was always just a call away.
I think this is what mentorship is, one-to-one personalized, and this is where it distinguishes itself from the classroom program, the traditional classroom program. I think, how did you prepare for your current affairs, and did you really use Samachar Manthan also in your preparation?
I did. Samachar Manthan was something which I was extremely disciplined with. I mean, since I was a working aspirant, I might not had the time to go through the entire lecture, but I was, the PDF was the one which was my major source of current affairs, and I used to give these weekly tests of Samachar Manthan. I'd have given 48 to 50 tests throughout, and Samachar Manthan was my primary source of current affairs.
Animesh, I know it's impossible for you to tell right now what worked this time, but what do you really think? Was it mains? If it was mains, what part of the mains? Or was it interview? Where do you think you have gotten an edge? Definitely you have gotten some edge, that's why you are at 2. So what is that edge you would like to?
I'm not sure until I get the marks out, and even though I would get the marks out, I'm sure I will not completely agree to my marks because it's very subjective. But I think my mains content was pretty enriched because of Samachar Manthan, because I was writing those tests every week. So answer writing was not something that I had to do separately. And the content enrichment happened on top of the content that I was getting for Samachar Manthan. And I knew that I would have to do a lot of ornamentation, a lot of add-ons to what I'm getting from that. And I did that. And I'm sure that would have given me an edge. And sociology was something I was very interested in. So I'm hoping sociology would have given me an edge. And I'm not sure about how my interview went, so I'd not like to comment on that.
We hope that too sociology gave you that edge. Okay, so a lot of them are beginners who will be watching you and taking inspiration from you. So if there is any rough strategy, आप थोड़ा जल्दी briefly बता पाओ कि how should they be targeting for 2025?
So my whole agenda was to, for example, if your exam is in May, any particular year's May, so till December, if you're a first-time aspirant, till December or mid-January, you should not think that there's something called prelims. You should understand there's a mains scheme. And after mid-January, you should not understand that there's anything called mains and you have to be exclusive prelims. Although people say that both are mostly integrated, which is true to an extent, but the way you try to perceive the books, the same sources for mains point of view and from prelims point of view is a bit different. So till December, you have to make sure that most of the content for mains, topic-wise, GS ka, every syllabus ka, different angles for that particular topic should be covered, handwritten or digital. I made handwritten notes because I was comfortable with them, but that must be ready, at least 80% of that, along with your optional till December and or mid-January. And after that, you can get into entire prelims mode where the same sources you read, but from fact-oriented basis, or where you solve a lot of mock tests. So that should be a strategy, mains, prelims integrated, but with a different approach to tackle with them.
And as you were also telling me that लक्ष्मीकांत वगैरह पढ़ने का इतना मुझे पता है कैसे पढ़ना है, मुझे एक हैंड होल्डिंग चाहिए थी, एक गाइडेंस चाहिए थी. दिस इज वेयर मेंटरशिप एक्चुअली हेल्प्ड. तो इसके बारे में आप और बताएंगे कि मतलब जिसको ऑफ कोर्स पता है इंटरनेट पे बहुत सारे रिसोर्सेज हैं एंड यू सेड यू यूज्ड अ लॉट ऑफ देम फ्री में, तो वहाँ पे मेंटरशिप को कंबाइन करके हम कैसे बना सकते हैं एक अच्छी रैंक?
So mentorship for me held this. Everybody is in different shoes, so everybody has a different story. I was even though I have a BTech degree and come from computer science, I was fairly confident with humanities subjects, although I had forgotten most of them. But I was a sincere student in school, and in general, I have interest in polity, sociology, economy. So I was generally aware person, but that's why I understood I do not require lectures so that who could teach me the concepts, because although there are a lot of tricky things, but I thought that I would be able to manage them myself, and also I was a working aspirant, I had no time. And mentorship, how helped it me? There's a lot of information available free of cost, online, offline, ORN, everywhere. So my mentor used to curtail that to me, and he never said me that you have to read only this source or you have to study only Civilsdaily material, anything. He used to guide me what material for what subject is better, or he used to give me alternatives, go and explore and then stick to one source. He used to guide me if my marks are low, what can I improve, how can my answer writing be more developed. And I used to have emotional breakdowns also, and there are times in which I did not want to do this because back at home there were issues. But mentorship also comes there because that provides a human touch and more personalized touch, and not a very generalized to-do list for you to carry out throughout your preparation.
Also, you are not shy away to accept that you went through mental turmoil, a lot of mental health crisis you were going through, and of course it's not easy. It's not easy with the background you're coming from, and the incidents you have had seen. So again, how mental health is no shame today. I mean, every one of us face it. I mean, how do you please tell more about it, and how did you tackle it, and what lessons would you want to give to viewers who are watching us?
So therapy is something that I don't get the point why people will be ashamed of, because it's just another part of your body, as important as your liver or your lungs or your kidney. So I had to enroll with a counselor and a therapist right after my mother got diagnosed, and I had UPSC, which is already very daunting, and UPSC is something that lets you or forces you to push your friends and community away. So the process gets lonelier, and while the process was lonelier for me, I had to deal with the only parent that I had and her illness. So it was an added mental health turmoil to me. So I was in therapy from February 2022 or January 2022, and I still had an appointment yesterday. Mostly coping with the grief of my mother's loss and worrying about the results. So I have been in therapy once a week, twice a week to once a month, and it works. And especially for UPSC, since how daunting emotionally this process can be, this is something that I would recommend that people should see a therapist. And having said that, I understand therapy could be very costly. It costs a fortune at times, but there are a lot of other initiatives that's coming up. So anywhere you can seek help from a professional guide, don't shy away.
A lot of students are appearing for this year 2024. Can you give them some tips how to crack this exam, and especially the prelims part? So 2024, how should they plan abhi, or prelims ko leke immediately kya?
For 2024, I had not signed up for the exam this year because I could not, because my mother was in ICU. But if I would have to give today, then since I have some 50-60 days, I would first focus on CSAT, because that was the time which was terrible last year. Second, now it's time to limit your sources and do multiple revisions as many times you want, and increase the frequency of giving test series, analyze them, and just do not get in a comfort zone and just read economy, environment, polity. Read science and technology, read art and culture, read medieval India, because you have to score everywhere. So you cannot leave one subject ki medieval se it's nahi hoga, ancient nahi hoga, art and culture nahi hoga. It's because you have accepted from day one ki this is not done, so you will not do it. So science and technology is equally important as polity, equally rewarding. You have to find a strategy to it. So, and since it's evolving, our preparation strategy has to evolve.
Right. Since it's for students, आप लोग बताओ डाउट्स, नहीं तो मैं तो सवाल पूछता रहूँगा वो जेनरिक वाले, बट आप लोग ऑर्गेनिक हो, बताओ रियल क्राइसिस.
Sir, आपके पास time crunch था, तो then how you covered all the subjects and all the part like medieval art?
So obviously I did not, for example, if I would have read Lakshmikant 5-6 times, I would not have read Arya Sharma for ancient that many times. So, but I ensured that I would cover everything, but I will also prioritize. I know ki polity is my strength, so I will be very thorough in it, that ki I would not go wrong here. But that doesn't mean that I will leave art and culture entirely. So, thoda bahut karke, like I know कि ancient का करना है, So there are Buddhism and Jainism which comes. Ashoka के बारे में questions come a lot about ports. A lot of things come. Terminologies, a lot of those I'll at least do very well as compared to the entire Arya Sharma book. So that was a strategy for these lesser talked about subjects.
More questions.
The way you covered all the subjects, मतलब क्या ऐसा था जो जल्दी रीडिंग करना है या फिर कुछ सेलेक्टेड मेंटोर ने बताया मार्क लगा दिया?
No, for me, my mentor did not mark कि यहाँ से यहाँ पढ़ो, यहाँ से वहाँ ना पढ़ो. For example, I would ask him कि ये वाला चैप्टर डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है. For example, ट्राइबल पीजेंट मूवमेंट स्पेक्ट्रम से बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है. Then he would suggest me a YouTube वीडियो कि ये देख लो, इससे बेहतर होगा. और फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई वुड से कि DPSP याद नहीं रह रहे हैं, तो हाउ डू आई डू? सो माई मेंटर वुड सेंड ए यूट्यूब वीडियो और मोर सिंप्लीफाइड सिविल्स डेली का कंटेंट हो, फिर और किसी का कंटेंट हो विच वुड बी थोड़ा सिंपलर बाइट्स में हो, तो ही हेल्प वैसे करके. बट ऐसे नहीं, ऐसा स्पून फीड भी नहीं कि सिर्फ पेज नंबर 1 to 2 पढ़ो, 3 मत पढ़ो, 5 to 6, ऐसा नहीं.
सर प्रीलिम्स के लिए करंट अफेयर्स बिकॉज़ समाचार मंथन इज इटसेल्फ अ बल्की डॉक्यूमेंट.
करेक्ट.
हाउ यू कवर्ड दैट?
सो समाचार फॉर प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव से करंट अफेयर्स समाचार मंथन एक्सक्लूसिवली आई डिड नॉट डू. समाचार मंथन वाज माय मेजर सोर्स जिससे करंट अफेयर्स से मेंस के कंटेंट गॉट बिल्ट अप 80 to 85% ऑफ दैट. When I went to पूरा prelims mode पे, he's from mid-January, since it's my first attempt, so I gave a lot of time to prelims. So उस टाइम पे I went back to समाचार मंथन. मैंने एक बार पढ़ा होगा because I wrote the test, तो उधर मैंने अंडरलाइन मार्क किया था. So from February to May मैं उन अंडरलाइन को 2 बार 3 बार पढ़ा, प्लस उसके साथ उसी टाइम पे I read जैसे विजन के कुछ लास्ट 8-10 महीने के मैगजीन. सो prelims exclusive I read my समाचार मंथन के highlighted marks plus also vision के magazines.
But you wrote 50 tests of Samachar Manthan.
Yes.
How could you, like, how did you manage to write 50 tests?
I mean, I as a person I really love tests. So marks से मुझे खुशी मिलती थी. That's how I have been built up from childhood. So that excitement कि आज मैं टेस्ट लिखूंगा and आज मुझे कितना मार्क मिलेगा as compared to last week was my adrenaline source. So and also it also helps कि आपका आंसर राइटिंग उसी से ही हो जाता है. And there's no point if you don't give the test because एक वीक का you read the समाचार मंथन, how will you test yourself? आपने एक्चुअली पढ़ा या नहीं, और how will you internalize वो इन्फॉर्मेशन, कैसे यूज करेंगे आप उसको. सो दैट वुड बी माई मोटिवेशन कि अगर मैं टेस्ट नहीं दूंगा तो उस एंटायर वीक का समाचार मंथन पढ़ना इज ऑल्सो नॉट वर्थ इट.
सर मतलब सारे सब्जेक्ट्स कवर करने के बाद भी मुझे ऐसा डर लगता है कि पता नहीं क्या होगा या फिर मेरे मार्क्स में नंबर कम आ जाते हैं. तो
I mean, it's very natural dar. Anybody who had gotten the rank 1, he would also agree. I would also agree कि till yesterday it would feel कि नहीं होगा. Prelims के पहले दिन भी लगता था कि नहीं होगा. Mains के पहले दिन भी लगता था नहीं होगा. But the more tests you give, the more confident you become कि हो रहा है. Like you can see that difference कि मैं जब February का mock दिया था, I would have gotten 200 से 50. And there are tests जिसमें art and culture में I would have gotten 25-30 also. But then that got improved. There are times I had gotten 100 also. There are times I got 90, 95. तो वो slowly over the time होता है. So and वो डर तो till the moment while you are giving the exam वो रहेगा ही. But then that's the game you have to overcome the fear.
आपने कितने टेस्ट लिए थे इससे पहले एससी नंबर्स ऑफ टेस्ट?
I'll have to think. I do not want to make up any number ऐसा कि कुछ भी बोल दूँ. And but then I think number of tests अगर से prelims का करेंगे तो I would have given around 35 to 45 tests. No, I'd say since I was working at that time, I did not get the chance. But if given, I was focusing on 2 institutes. One Civilsdaily, I was a part of the UAP, so I had their test series. So that I had given. Along with that, I had not enrolled, but there are a lot of resources that you can get access to. So वहाँ से I had Auric Institute का had taken their test series and done that. So 2 institute का test series I had done properly, analyzed their answers, made notes of the answers, revised those answers multiple times. So importance of newspaper, I would have a very unpopular opinion. Newspaper for some, like it depends how much time you have. मेरे पास time नहीं था, so initially when I started preparation पूरे बहुत basic से continuously for 2 months I had studied Hindu, but not like पूरा line by line, but उसके editorial और जो interesting कुछ articles होते थे. बट उसके बाद आई कुड नॉट कंटिन्यू बिकॉज इतना सा पढ़ना था, ऑफिस था, सो आई डिड नॉट रीड न्यूज़पेपर बिकॉज टाइम ही नहीं होता था. बट इफ एनीबडी इज गेटिंग द चांस दे शुड गो थ्रू, ताकि 1-2 महीने जब स्टार्ट करे प्रिपरेशन पता तो चले कि यार रेपो रेट होता क्या है, पॉलिटी में हो क्या रहा है, लाइक छूट जाती है सब कुछ. यू नेवर, और कभी जिंदगी में कोई बोलता नहीं है कि व्हाट डज एक्चुअली आरबीआई डू और व्हाट डज रेपो रेट से होता, मतलब व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दैट. सो वो सब बेसिक आइडिया एटलीस्ट वो टर्मिनोलॉजी न्यूज़पेपर से पता चलती है. बट दैट डिपेंड्स कि आप 2 महीने पढ़ना चाहते हैं या फिर 6 महीना पढ़ना चाहते हैं, इट्स अप टू यू. बट जब तक वही, आई यूज टू टेस्ट माई सेल्फ पर मंथ ऑल्सो. समाचार मंथन का प्रीलिम्स टेस्ट भी होता था. सो मैं देखता था कि मेरे टेस्ट के स्कोर्स आर कमिंग ओके, सो आई फील कि ठीक है न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. सो यू हैव टू टेस्ट योर सेल्फ. फॉर प्रीलिम्स आई हैड डन समाचार मंथन, ऑल्सो विजन IAS का मंथली मैगजीन फॉर 8 to 10 months. The sociology I didn't take any coaching, but I had enrolled in 2 test series, one before prelims and one after prelims. Before prelims I had enrolled in Reliable and Valid, so they run a Telegram channel, and after prelims I had enrolled in Vision IAS sociology test series.
Okay, students. He is really running short of time. He has a session with Odisha government also. We'll invite him properly when he's free, and we'll call all of you. Right now we could not call a lot of people. We'll invite a lot of you, and आप अच्छे से इनसे doubts पूछना. अभी he's really running out of time, and he's very kind enough to come and give his time. So please, big up. I would request my mentors, all of our mentoring team, to come and थोड़ा मिठाई खिलाओ सर को.
Thank you. तो बनती है. Thank you.
हो गया भाई, कितना खाएगा वो. थैंक यू सो मच अनिमेश. थैंक यू.
फिर से रैंक 2 अनिमेश प्रधान.